Hey YouTube, in this deck profile I'm going to be doing an updated Genesis deck. So this is my updated Himiko deck. So I went back and I changed it a bit after playtesting it more and more recently, and then I wanted to put back in cards that I had from way back when the deck first came out, other than I changed it with trial deck stuff and then decided to swap it even more. So here I've come up with a slightly more consistent deck. There's only one thing that I point out. I will point out that I don't like, which is certain grade 3 lack of the force marker. But other than that, the deck is fine. So for Himiko, you need her. Basically, is the main grade 3 Vanguard. If you don't have her, then usually you're going to be forced to ride Iwanaga Hime. I really don't like this card. I used to have 2 of it. I cut it down to 1 now. Might actually take it out altogether. But it does have the force marker, so if you have to ride it, it's not the end of the world. And its effect is pretty decent at helping you get a trigger unit, like a critical trigger for instance, into the soul. Next, I am running 3 Goddess of the Milky Way. So this card's good. It's actually quite good. It's really good, actually. The only bad thing about it is the lack of the force marker. The lack of the force marker, in my opinion, hurts it enough that I won't run the max copies of it because I don't want to have to ride this as the Vanguard. If you ride it as the Vanguard, it's not the end of the world, though, because its effect is really good. But the problem is when you re-ride into Himiko, you'll only have your first force marker, so it won't, you won't really generate that much pressure now. And when you do your second ride, you better hope that Himiko's skill can be utilized at that point. So luckily, her effect is good enough that by that point you will be able to do the skill. So we run 3 of her. I mean, I might run 4 of her, but sometimes Iwanaga Hime is pretty decent when you put the critical into the soul for her skill. And we have enough things to discount soul blasting that she can essentially soul blast for free to draw a card and then do that skill, or soul blast for like 1 or something. So that's a grade 3 lineup. For grade 2s, it did change a little bit compared to the original iteration. So I'm still running the 4 Saho Hime because she and Iwanaga Hime have a similar effect. She's not as good as her effect, but she's grade 2, so doesn't have to be Vanguard. Although this does work on Rearguard Circle. Next, I'm running 4 Shitateru Hime. So we run 4 of her instead of 3 of her. Last time I was running 3 of her, but I found that I needed more discounting. So with her at 4, now it's more likely to be able to use her discount skill. Also, her skill is Vanguard or Rearguard. So on turn 2 ride, the nice thing is you ride her. It's preferred to ride her as Vanguard, so you can make use of this if you have both of them in your hand when you need to ride up to grade 2. So you would ride up to grade 2, and then you could, make her skill essentially not have to soul blast. Now that is contingent on you having 2 damage, so it's not like that's going to happen all the time, but if you do have the 2 damage when you ride grade 2, then it helps. And then we're running still probably one of the best grade 2s that Genesis has. It's hilarious how it's a common. So you got to run 4 copies of it because there isn't really a good way to soul charge in the deck. So he does help you draw and soul charge, and he goes into soul, so he fits he's basically the whole engine of the deck, primarily, or one of the key cards. He doesn't use any counterblasts. He disappears into the soul to work for Himiko, Soul Blast, or Iwanaga Hime, or any of these. This Soul Blast cost. And then he also blind soul charges. He draws you a card to replace him, and he blind soul charges. And the blind soul charge could be the critical or the draw. So there is that built in to the effect too. So that's why we run 4 of him. For grade 1s, 4 Mihikari Hime. So this is one of the more important grade 1s. You use this to discount by 3 for Soul Blast, so that essentially makes Iwanaga Hime's skill free, and it makes her Soul Blast free as well. It will also make Himiko's Soul Blast only a Soul Blast 2, and when you combine her with Shitataru Hime's skill, that becomes a free Soul Blast. So all you gotta do is have the critical or the draw in there to activate her effect. So that's why we run 4 of both of them. And then we run 4 Witcher Frog's Melissa to mess up the opponent's field. But sometimes this can backfire. Sometimes they can get, like, you know, stuff that they can still intercept with, or stuff that they can still boost properly with. So it doesn't always work, but hey, at least it negates the on-placed skills. So I really like that. So we run 4 of this. It's a 7k body though, so that's the one downside. Next we run 4 Witcher Cat's Cumin. Cumin is very, very important to loop or to cause recursion of, like, your on-place effects like this effect, or this effect, or even this effect. So that's why Cumin's really, really key. Very unique skill too. I like her skill. I think it's a very balanced cost. So definitely 4 Cumin. And then the only other grade 1 I'm running is 1 Achilles. So I used to run 2 of him. I took 1 out to bump this to 4. And then I took another, I think, what was this? This is, what? This is 13? Yeah, because I'm still only running 8 grade 3s because I've got 3 of this and 1 of that. So I took 1 out to bump this up to 4, basically. That's all I did. So not a whole lot of changes. We're still running the Draw Sentinels because they're pretty essential. Mainly because you could, and actually, you may also not run the starter. You could also run the draw or a critical as a starter. Now, I don't like that because I just don't like having, like, I like having the ability to draw the card off of this skill because it helps you with ride consistency. Now, people don't really understand that, but I'll explain it. Basically, when you have the option to draw, it helps you. Let's say you open up with no grade 3 in your starting hand, and you mulligan, you still don't have a grade 3 in hand. This skill, I think, in terms of designing the game, compared to like old school Vanguard with Forerunner effect, this helps you draw through the deck more to try to increase chances of drawing a missing grade. That's the way I think of this effect. That's why I don't like to run the deck without an actual starter effect, because I know a lot of people out there will run like a draw as their starter, or they'll run a critical as their starter, and you can do that, but it's like, you know, why? I mean, you can, because people will be like, oh, well, Himiko will be turn 3, it'll be live in turn 3. Yeah, but the thing is, we run enough cards in the deck already that it should be live at turn 3, and that was one of the main reasons why I put this in, to help with that consistency. So, anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think of the deck profile. I think it's fine with the Artemis starter, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks.